So, hey everybody, this is Dr. Len here, and I am with my client Gene. And Gene and I are going to talk a little bit about his experience working with me in my service, and more specifically, we're going to talk about how we put the email marketing program in place in his practice. So, Gene, thank you so much for joining me on this short call. Would you mind telling me and everybody what is your profession and how long have you been in practice?
Okay, well, my profession, I guess you'd say, would be financial services. I've been doing that about 25 years. Mostly started out as an independent agent and did a few captive things, but basically, mostly all the things I do now are independent. Back in all the early 2000s, and then I had a securities license, a 663 and a 26, but after about 2008, I decided to go into safe money strategies and not be doing so much, security stuff. So I've been working mostly in the senior market and also doing pretty well in that. And then, I guess around 2010 or so, I started doing some IULs and some things with some people and been doing those kind of things, some annuities and things like that. But pretty well. Seemed like it's been kind of slow at times, and I really enjoy doing the financial services. But I had decided that probably I needed some help in some of the areas of marketing, and so that's kind of how I got started. But anyway, I'm still planning on working for several more years.
Yep, I knew we had a plan when you first came on board, and the plan was to continue to double and maybe even triple income and new clients. And so we've been working together for a little while, and I know we have several different marketing efforts in place, but the one I promised to talk about today was the email marketing program.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll just share with everybody watching. One of the efforts that we have in place is, for Gene and for others, is to put an email effort in place that goes out to existing databases of existing clients and prospective clients. And Gene, I don't mind volunteering that when we first talked about it, you said, I don't know that this is going to work.
I know. Yeah. Well,
go ahead. Tell me what happened after we started to put those emails out there.
Okay. Well, when I started getting, you had about a series of 4 emails that, to send out of one thing and another. And I thought, well, okay, I'll try this. I've got probably a couple of hundred clients that I've over the years that I've got that in the senior market and things like that. But I thought, I don't know, these folks may not be interested. But so I started sending some of those out, and and lo and behold, I kept getting a few responses here and there. And then next thing I knew, I had a couple of people calling me wanting me to check that out, and so I did that, and I would say over the period of the last 2 months, I've written a couple of annuities. I think I've done 2 IULs, and also I've done I did $1 million. I guess it was a term policy with a younger client, and so. Things have been popping here lately, and the reason why is because I'd never thought I've never done a lot of emailing, and this worked really well, and I'm beginning to get even some more, and I guess, I could say I'm well on my way to making my first 100,000 this year, which usually always ends up about the end of the year. So
Okay.
In the last 3-4 months, I've really done quite some good business.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate you sharing that, and I didn't mind sharing up front that you weren't entirely convinced that it was actually going to work for you. And I'll share with everybody watching that our goal was to help you add that 100,000 additional net income every quarter.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm thrilled that here in our first few months together, we're pretty close to hitting that goal. And I'm a snowball guy, and I think you are too. Last time we talked, we just talked about the ability to just keep this thing going and growing. And so I want to ask, with regard to the email responses that you're getting, one of the things that you said was that people are either calling you or reaching out to you. I think for me, one of the things I'm hoping I'm helping you with is that it doesn't really become where a situation where you're selling, but instead I'm trying to reverse the chase and get your prospects and get your clients to reach out with questions. Can you help me? Will this work for me? Is that true for you? Is that your experience?
Well, it's beginning to, I guess I would say that all of us agents hate chasing people or hate,
Yeah.
trying to call and, and eventually maybe get somebody, but one thing and another. And so what this kind of situation has done, and of course I first met you, I guess I'd say, because I was really interested in learning more and doing some things with LinkedIn.
Yep.
And that's what, attracted my attention. And then, of course, and you've been doing a fantastic job working in that area too for me. But like I said, the email thing was a little bit different. But then on the other hand, it made it so simple that the fact that people began to be aware more of what I was doing, and they, since I knew them a little bit anyway, they began to trust me a whole lot more, and they began to reach out to me, and that's what is so. I've never been used to that in the financial services industry so much, and the LinkedIn thing's doing the same thing. People are beginning to reach out and do the thing. So, I would say if you're an agent that, doesn't like to have to prospect all the time and have some prospects calling you, this might be the best way to go. It really is.
That's awesome. Well, thank you for that. Probably one of the most important things that you just said, and again, you've been around a while, is that trust factor.
Right.
That's, I think if you can start a conversation with a prospect or a client, and you already have that foundation of trust and understanding about, they know they're talking to the best of the best, they know they're talking to an expert. To your point, I think it makes the rest of the conversation a lot easier.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that positioning really does help. And like I said, it's all about reaching out to people and talking to people and doing some activity that some things that you can do. But like I said, the ability to maybe go a little bit different direction or do some things like that. I was a little nervous on doing some things like that, but it's worked out very well. And
awesome.
So.
Well, that's fantastic. Gene, we can wrap this up. Is there anything that I didn't ask you about that you would have wanted me to ask you about?
Well, I guess maybe it's a question of what do you think about the system, Gene? I don't know. From the LinkedIn, helping me with, sending out those messages, and you've laid those out, and that works really good. You learn to maybe improvise a little bit here and there, but basically everything's laid out for you, and you begin to utilize that, and you're going, hey, this is really working. And I guess, the generating the leads and, being able to see the system working. I guess you say, what do you think about it, Gene? I'd say, this is a great system, and I think, Dr. Len, you've done a good job of putting all this together. I don't know how you did all that, but anyway, it's really good. So I appreciate it.
Well, thank you. And let me also say, Gene, you are a master of implementation. There's only so much I can do. You're an amazing, I know how you are with your clients. You're an amazing communicator. You're an amazing educator. You genuinely care about your clients. So thanks for all of that. But truthfully, you're making this happen because of the kind of person and advisor and caring educator and communicator that you are. So kudos to you for absolutely taking this to the next level.
I appreciate that. It's my pleasure, and thanks so much.
Awesome. You're so welcome. Well, thanks again, Gene, for joining me, and I can't wait to check in with you next quarter. We'll see if we can do this again.
Okay. Yeah, I'm excited about it.
Awesome. Have a great rest of your day. I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you, Dr. Len.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.